the MCU drops the ball yet again with Thor: Love and Thunder. What exactly was Marvel thinking with Thor: Love and Thunder? Thor: Love and Thunder is a masterclass in wasted potential. Disney and Marvel had to be really, really high to approve the Thor: Love and Thunder script. Trust me, I can go on and on, but let's just roll the thing. Thor: Love and Thunder was released on the 8th of July. That's like way back, with a budget of $250 million. It was directed by Taika Waititi, and it plays Chris Hemsworth reprising his role as Thor. We've got Jane. We've got a new arrival in form of the villain, played by Christian Bale, God the God Butcher. Now, I'm just going to go straight to the point with the pros. So I did have some pros with this movie, despite my initial intro. What are the pros? Well, first and foremost, I'm still a nice stickler for comedy. So even though the MCU has been watered down with all the jokes and everything, see that initial bit with Enya and Thor doing the whole retirement thingy and everything, I actually did enjoy that bit. And also the homage to the epic Van Damme splits for the Volvo ad that Thor did when he was fighting. I actually did like that, so I think that was cool. And Jane, Natalie Portman, who plays Jane as Thor, she was the heart of this movie. I really, really, really did enjoy her. Tessa Thompson also as Valkyrie. You know, the way I saw it, it was, you know, when they say you love what you do and you're just having fun. Tessa Thompson, I don't even think she read the script that much. It was just like, I should just be cool on set, right? No wala. And I think that was just what she did throughout this entire movie. And I think she had a lot of fun with it too. So I really liked watching her, right? And that's it. That's all for the pros. Now, let me get to the meat of the matter and the reason why I described Thor: Love and Thunder in all the different ways that I did earlier. First and foremost, Gore is God the God Butcher, and this is a character from the comics. And from the comic book origin, this is a character that it took 3 versions of Thor to take down. So that's present day Thor, Thor of the past, and King Thor in the future. 3 of them had to come together to fight this guy, because in the past he fought against Thor, but he wasn't strong enough yet. He ran away. Then present Thor, then the future, and by that time, you know, the more he kills gods with what he got, which was a necro sword, which was much cooler in the comics. And I wonder where they spent the $250 million budget if they could not make the sword that cool in the movies. That one I'll tackle that later. But then this was a character that was just too good not to be done proper justice. Christian Bale, I think he played his role, at least given the script that he got. He played his role well, because we cannot question how good he is of an actor. This is the guy that gave us the Nolan trilogy Batman. He is that good. And Equilibrium, I remember watching Equilibrium. I really enjoyed him in that too. So it has something to do with Christian Bale as an actor, but then the script that he was given. See, Infinity War will still be one of Marvel's best movies ever. Why? It was a villain story. That's what it was. So the Thanos story. And while all the other heroes got to shine, we got to see all of them do their thing. But see, it was a villain story done right. Thor the God Butcher would have been someone who was also almost as comparable to Thanos. Yes, he did not have the Infinity Gauntlet with the stones, right? But see, the Necro Sword is such a force from the comics that it was just so watered down in this movie. In the course of the entire movie, from start to finish, you know, the only time we actually got to see Gore, the God Butcher a god, was when he first got the Necro Sword and he did it in self-defense, because the god was being a terrible god, and he was about to kill him, because this is a guy who just lost his daughter, and the god did not just give a damn, and the sword called to him. He killed that god in defense. That was the only time we got to see him. Like, that was so much wasted potential. When Lady Sif, played by Jamie Alexander, who is a character who, till today, I still don't understand why Marvel has not yet tapped that character so much. Like, Lady Sif in the comics is still such a good character that We just see her in a movie that is about Thor, like a cameo character, and that's all. And even in that, there's a particular scene. Oh yeah, by the way, this movie was released in July, so this review has spoilers. I mean, if you were not aware, this is your warning, and I'll put it in the description for this video so you'll be aware. But then, of course, there are going to be spoilers. So when Thor became aware that there is this guy who is killing God, all we get to see are images of gods being hung and all that. I mean, that one being hung is actually, I think, if I remember clearly, is straight from the comic. So we see the dead gods. We don't see the gore doing the butchering. Even Sif, the same way he appears, when she sends the message and then he appears and then he sees her, right? And that's where there is so much disconnect in the seriousness of the story and what they are putting on the screen. So this is Sif that just got her arm chopped off, and she's making this joke about how she'll go to Valhalla and all that, and then Thor is saying, no, unless you die but you don't go to Valhalla. Like, oh, okay. Like it was just so stupid because there was a dead god, she was out with her arm chopped off, and it was just watered down. That's my problem. A lot of people praise Taika Waititi for Ragnarok now, right? I remember leaving the cinema with my friend and I felt like I was dropped. I felt like I was insulted as a moviegoer, as a fan, as someone who understood the story, because I can't imagine this house I'm living in now getting destroyed and I will make a joke out of it. The entirety of Asgard, your entire planet was destroyed and it was watered down as a joke, and some people praised that movie. Like, I thought that movie was stupid. It was very dumb. And well, because that was praised, right? They said, oh yeah, why not? Let's double our efforts on stupidity. And lo and behold, that's what they did. Even the god that was murdered, in quote, by Gore, and Sif Sand cutting off, you could have chopped off so much with all this stupid comedy and actually show us a fight where Gore butchers a god and he fights Sif, and we see our hand got chopped off. Like, that would have been such an epic thing to witness. So do you understand? It was so underused. The times it was on screen, it was so underwhelming for a character like Gore. I mean, when it came to New Asgard, he used the shadow creatures. There was that little fight. That was probably like the best time we actually saw him doing anything, because next thing, he abducted the kids and then he was bullying them. So he was a child bully. Like, it was very underwhelming. Like, let's talk about the introduction of Zeus, played by Russell Crowe. Now, the whole let's see what you're wearing underneath flick, and then we see his nakedness and all of that, and he will say you flick too damn hard. I mean, all of that was just so disgusting to watch, because this was a perfect setup. You call him a god butcher, right? Why? Yeah, and while I know that this is a place where only gods could enter, right? If you wanted to set up a stage to actually show that he's a god butcher, he would have been able to find his way to that place and actually butcher some gods, on screen. When he said it was just this kind of fight between Thor and that's Thor and Jane Thor, and then also talking about Valkyrie, and then fighting, and then Zeus, his lightning bolt went through him, and that was it. Now there was a deleted scene where instead of him getting the lightning bolts that way, Zeus was actually advising him like a father figure, because Odin is dead, right? Zeus was advising him like a father figure, and he was imparting some wisdom, and he taught him how to use the lightning bolt. Clearly that scene would have worked better, but there was no way it was going to fit into that narrative of just joke, goat screaming almost every 10 minutes or 20 minutes of the movie. Yeah. Like, there was no way it was going to fit into that narrative. The entire thing, when it came to Thor Love and Thunder, was just very underwhelming. See, with the exception of Jane, even though yes, they still tried to fix in that comedy where she had stage 4 cancer, which is also comics accurate. She had stage 4 cancer, but then she was like, well, it's just stage 4 cancer. And then a friend was like, yeah, it's stage 4 cancer out of 4 stages. She was trying to downplay it. I don't still see it as a negative, because there are people that, yes, when things are really, really bad for them, they still try to see the joke in it, right? So I still don't see that part as negative. I'll say every part where I saw Natalie Portman play either Jane or Jane Mighty Thor, I think I liked. I really, really, really did like it. And I wish 2 things that would have made this movie excel is cutting all that dumb comedy Like even with that part of the Guardians of the Galaxy when he was saying goodbye to them at the start of the movie, right? And then Star-Lord was telling him about the whole thing with family, and then they were doing that whole staring thing and all that. It felt dumb. It felt really silly, to be honest, because if they had focused on how Thor is the God Butcher and is actually butchering gods, they had focused on Jane part, stage 4 cancer killing her, being the heart of the story, that would have sold a much better story and then give us a very nice climax. And speaking of climaxes, what was that crap with the child soldiers? These are shadow demons, right? Shadow monsters that are capable of killing and murdering and all of that. And somehow, how did Thor defeat them? He gave some of his powers to them, and I was like, am I watching something on Nickelodeon, Disney? Like this is Thor Love and Thunder, and I'm seeing a kid with a teddy bear do like it's God. I'll be honest with you, I wanted to go see this movie in cinema, even though I did not have I didn't have any expectations for this movie, right? Because of what I witnessed with Thor Ragnarok. But I was too busy to see it in the cinema, right? I just couldn't even go to the cinema that entire time. I am so glad that I didn't. Because yes, there's something that is clear to me. At least someone like me who knows a lot about the comics. And funny enough, I am someone who loves to see comedy in what I watch. Like Spider-Man is my guy. No Way Home is the perfect balance of comedy and seriousness and a dope story, right? And that Spider-Man, the funny guy, right, is meant to be the funny guy, and he is the funny guy. But still, they were able to balance it so beautifully. But see, at this point, it's clear to me that I am not Disney's target market. I am not the MCU's target market anymore. When it started, yes, I fell into that demographic. I mean, this is a major reason why Winter Soldier, with all the movies and series released in the MCU, over 30 now, so Winter Soldier is still top 3. Infinity War is still top 3. Look at these things. You can't tell me that you watch these movies and you do not still laugh. But then there were good stories, there were good plots. Every character, every side had a well fleshed out story. And that was what this movie was lacking. It was really lacking in substance. It was an absolute waste of time. If you had gone to the cinema, even streaming it on Disney Plus, it just feels like you wasted part of your subscription money for the month. So you just have to find something else to fill in that gap. That was what it felt like. And understand this clearly, at least from my perspective. I mean, this is me giving a review, right? I'm not saying this as a way to bash the ongoing She-Hulk, right? Funny enough, I knew what to expect, and there was a lot of fourth wall breaking, and it's meant to be a sitcom. I'm going to do a review of all the remaining episodes later this month or sometime next month when everything is done. I knew what to expect coming into this, right? So, and I also know that I don't expect that much from She-Hulk, like from the entire series itself. And I liked the pilot, I really did. And it's not just because I liked Tatiana Maslany. But then see, for this movie, it's like some people just need to be caned. They just find soldiers with koboko, like 4-mouth or 6-mouth koboko, and just cane some people, because the entire script and even the CGI in many of the scenes were poor, they were bad, they looked very unfinished. And that's something that is plaguing the entire MCU right now, right? That even VFX artists are rejecting the jobs. Because I'll tell you one thing that anybody that works in post will want from you the most. Yes, money is good, but time is a currency that we always ask for. That's why when it comes to jobs where clients will say a job that should take maybe 2 weeks, they're asking for it in 1 week. Then you have to start doing a lot of late nights. Maybe you get a second person, a third person, and it will still be enough. I mean, Thanos alone, just to get his body textures right, I think I read somewhere that it took up to 8 months for that. And while I know they might not have that much time, but still, it's a slap on the face of the audience and even you, the producer, when you put out a work that looks incomplete. So yeah, the script sucked. The fighting was not really great. Then what else are we watching here? I mean, I know there are people, and I've seen comments online, there are people that really love it. And my question is, what did you love about this movie? Is it the child soldier part? Like, these guys are fighting a guy who is a multiversal force or at least universal force. And then what are you doing? So yeah, that's it. It wasn't worth watching. I mean, I knew I was going to watch it. I wasn't having any expectations, but it just felt like an utter waste of time. And I wouldn't recommend this movie to anybody, honestly. If you've not seen the movie yet, this review has more than done this for you. As a rating, it gets a 1/10. And the 1 is because of Jane. That's it. Anything beyond that is just me being too generous, because I'm already quite generous at this point. So 1/10, Thor Love and Thunder, absolute skip. I guess in the end for Disney, they'll probably be able to use Thor Love and Thunder to sell a bit more merchandise for kids, because those are probably target audience. Kids that don't really know much about the comics, and maybe they would like this movie. But for people that grew up on these things, like me, anybody in say their 20s, their 30s and above, I don't think this movie would have really appealed to them as much. And also there are 2 end credit scenes. One is Jane in Valhalla, and we get to see Idris Elba, Heimdall. It was really nice to see. Like I said, anything with Jane in it I actually liked. Her dying, all of that. I liked seeing her in it, because I think Natalie, she still did a really good job. And even her being excited that she has the powers of Thor, and talking about signature moves and all of that, I liked it. I liked it. I just wish they had focused more on what mattered, which was these stories, because it made it feel like the serious moments in the movie, like Jane dying, was also watered down because of the comedic focus. Like I mentioned about Sif Sam getting cut off too. And that's why I said Thor being underutilized. Remember Hela in Ragnarok, as much as I have all my issues with Ragnarok, Hela at least got more screen time, and it's sort of made up for at least some of the fights and all that. So you understand, like the fight between Hela and Thor was dope. It was a really nice fight. Oh yeah, and also second end credit introducing Hercules, which makes it look like, oh yeah, there will be another movie somewhere in the future. I'm not looking forward to it. If they continue with this trend, then honestly, whatever at this point. It's chances are I might skip it in the cinema again. I mean, they say never say never, but I might skip it in the cinema again and just watch it sometime when it's out on Disney Plus or something. And that's it for this review. If you've liked what you watched, don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. It truly does help the channel, even though it's just a couple of clicks and a couple of keystrokes. Don't forget to check out this video or this video next to see some of our other drop reviews on the channel. It's Tech for GVNNaija. Live long and prosper.